Okay, and welcome to an audio talk with me, Richard Clark, or Wushu Richard, as my name is online. In this audio message, I want to talk about something that's very, very devastating, and it's the idea of filling a space with an addiction, filling the space with some kind of activity that can become an addiction, and something that people may use. It can take many forms. It could take, and we're talking about negative forms here. So things like alcohol, drinking, alcohol, smoking, taking drugs, okay, things that are harmful to the body. And, people may take up all kinds of habits or activities to fill a space in their life, or try to cover up some kind of negative feelings they're having to kind of distract themselves. Now, I personally don't feel that I don't feel I have any addictions like that. I certainly don't have any of the addictions that I just mentioned. I don't really feel there's anything wrong with an addiction if it's positive, it's a positive thing, providing it doesn't go into a negative state. Basically, what I mean is it's okay to do something regularly. You can do exercise, you can do a lot of things. Maybe you're addicted to, it could be anything, good things. But sometimes too much of something is the same as too less of something. It can be bad for you. So the most important thing is you should not be doing something negative to yourself, right? That's the way I see it anyway. And as I say, my videos and my audios are, my videos that I make and my audios, or any of my philosophy that I share, they're my thoughts on life. It's not to say that I'm telling you, and this is how things are, and my advice is is meant for you as such. What I'm basically trying to say is that we should be more sensible in our lives. Now, there are some people who do take up things like I just mentioned. Some people drink too much alcohol, and they say that they're happy when they're drinking, or it helps them chill and relax. There's people that take marijuana and smoke marijuana and weed and drugs of some kind. Some people get addicted to very strong drugs, very dangerous drugs. Some people just have an addiction to lighter stuff, But the thing is, they are all negative things, They're really, really, they are not positive things. Something that's going to make you excuse me, I have a bad throat, by the way, and I don't take any drugs. So, but I'm just saying, it's like people do these things, they do try to find something to cover up what they're worrying about, or finding a way to relax and relieve themselves of some kind of stress and negativity which they are facing in their lives. Now, whether that's their own pressure that they've got in regards to themselves, be it from low esteem or just feeling bad in themselves and whatever, and actually knowing that or seeing it as that, or be it just stress with life and external forces per se, and things in life that are bringing them down, their life situation, or it could be a mixture of both, or it could be just a habit that they've picked up and they just enjoy doing it and they just can't stop doing it, and they just look they overlook the fact that they are actually doing negative things to themselves, and they just don't care because maybe their friends or other people around them do those things, and they see it like life, that's what life is about. Life just goes on, and it doesn't matter what you do, and society is the way it is. So you see what I mean? It can be a blind side as such. It's just a very, very negative thing, is what I want to say. And basically, you never are doing yourself any good and respect and honour to yourself. You know, you can't be really serious about your life if you're following all of this negative stuff, you know, this negative stuff, and yet you want to do good for yourself. You're trying to, I don't know, win in society and maybe get along with other people. Maybe friends of yours do some form of drugs, or they drink or smoke, and you do the same thing to hang out, and it's part of the culture or whatever it is, and you just want to be in with the whoever else. And you know, and at the end of the day, you know, you've got people that are not respecting their body and they're not respecting their self. And these kind of addictions, don't forget, these addictions can take the form of many different things. It could be some other kind of activity or something which is just negative. So my advice is looking into what really is positive for yourself. It's no good saying that, oh, you know, you just finding excuses and saying, well, nobody's perfect, which is true, or by saying, that this thing is not life-threatening, so you're just going to continue doing it. And, you know, it's not the point. The point is the principle and being clear of mind. Now, there are some people that try and cover up their fears, their pressure, their stress, their anger, all the negative feelings they're feeling, rather than facing them, and rather than trying to be brave and face a difficult life situation. Okay, they could just look at things and say honestly, be honest with themselves, and look at what they are able to do, what they're not able to do, what knowledge and ability they have, and just respect themselves as an honest individual, regardless of how the society or people around you that you are surrounding yourself with, by putting yourself in a situation that you're with those people in the first place. You don't have to accept any negativity, and you don't need people that are not really your friends or not positive to you or towards themselves, and that you don't need any of that. What you need to do, what I would tell myself anyway, is you need self-respect and to do what is right for you, you know, on all levels, you know. So this is basically my point. So in terms of any kind of self-harm, be it, you know, for whatever, or any kind of activity that you do for pleasure or for some kind of escape, or just to make you feel good, and you don't give a damn about the, you know, the negative effects or consequences, that is really ignorant towards yourself. And so my advice in this audio, okay, this message for you guys is, you know, let's understand ourselves. We should really understand ourselves. Young people or older people, you don't need to be so disrespectful to yourself and just follow the ways of others. Now, I've taken some little simple examples here, but they are a big problem, you know, smoking, drinking, people taking marijuana, weed, drugs of any kind, hard stuff as well, hardcore stuff, you know. It's like, this stuff is no good, it really isn't. And there's certain things, you know, that people do in life where they get so confused and blinded as such, they don't see the way they're treating themselves and then the way they're treating other people too. There are people that want to chill out or switch their brain off half even for a certain time and just get drunk. You know, there's people that go out drink driving. Also, this can cause devastating effects. You could kill someone, you could kill yourself, you could have an accident. People that take drugs too. And what kind of message are you putting, you know, what kind of message are you showing others? You know, do you believe you're always wrong and you're always supposed to be a follower, or you're always going to be beaten down by the society, so you want to escape and switch off and just chill out so you don't know where you are and your brain's tripping? Do you really think that is what it is? Is that what you really are, you know? You that low in yourself? You don't need to do that. You could do something much better than that. You can be creative. You can do anything, more exercise or something. You know, that is just, it's like, you know, it's when you do that, when you conform to the society, you give in. It's like when you are really being treated a certain way too, like, or when you see people treating another person negatively in society, and you want to fit in with the crowd. It's almost like kids in school, you know, when they don't want to be bullied, so they join the bullies. And I see this in adults too, and people are just brainwashed by today's society, and I think people confuse it with their morals in a lot of points, and it doesn't, in a lot of situations, it doesn't even seem logical to even follow morality. That's just ridiculous in a lot of people's minds, and I think that's so sad. And people are walking around with their mobile phones, just looking at their phones like a machine, thumbs up, thumbs down, you know, just posting photos up there and all kinds of stuff, and it's really not at all benefiting them in the long run and in a more meaningful way in their lives. It's shallow and empty. I see a lot of stressed out people, a lot of people that have so little happiness in them, in this life, and I think that's devastating. That's just so pathetic. Walking around in your fancy suit, whatever, however you may be dressed. I see it in the rich people, I see it in the poor people, I see it amongst all people of all walks of life, in all cultures too. Now humanity needs to realise that you have a life, each one of us, and we should value that life and value everyone else. Now converting to violence and giving into violence is wrong. Becoming a violent, hateful person, a judgmental person, treating people in a way that you just don't care, you know, treating people in a negative way is never good. But there's so much violence in the world right now, and that's another thing. And where does that come from? I believe some things are sudden, but I also believe some things, some serious acts of negativity in our societies can come from just a small beginning, you know, a small seed of negativity that you'll never find, but it becomes in the mind. It's like a natural habit. People just become so lazy, and they're programmed, and they don't even remember how they were programmed. You know, it's like looking for that, you know, seed in the sand as such. It's like so hard to find, you know, a grain of sand, and it's like if your mind in a lifetime is like a beach with footprints, you know, it's like a beach of sand, or like, you know, it's like, can you find that grain of sand, you know, or like it's like once the water goes, if you pour some water, a cup of water into the sea, you know, in a few years time, can you find that same bit of water again? No, it's just mixed all in, isn't it? So it's part of who you are and what you are. So basically, we need to understand where our habits come from, what our thoughts are. And if you do certain things which are negative, even in the quiet comfort of your own home, and you're not bothering anybody else, fair enough. But if you're doing anything that's even slightly negative towards yourself, wasting your time, energy, money, health, state, whatever, and you're doing things just to forget about the stress of life, just switch off and just, you know, it's like almost like killing yourself half. It's like being half asleep. You don't have to face the reality of everything else around you. You can face your own reality and say, I'm better than this. I can do more. I don't need to follow these people. I don't need to be in this place. There is more for me in this life, and I can do it. You can change jobs. You can change your friends. You can move. You don't have to stay in that same situation. You don't need to stay with those people. There is more to your life that can be made and had and experienced and enjoyed in this life. If only you would save not only money and time and try to be perfect, no, but like just save yourself, you know, save yourself, respect yourself, and say, I'm not gonna. You should say to yourself, you know, I'm not gonna smoke, I'm not gonna drink, I'm not gonna take any drugs at all. I'm not gonna spend this money on something that somebody else is. I'm not going to do something I don't need to do. I'm not going to waste this time. I'm not going to listen to that person anymore. I'm not going to talk to that person's back anymore. I'm not going to talk about people, put people down anymore. I'm not going to fall to the low level of negativity that I see in the world around me. I'm not going to carry on dressing a certain way, speaking a certain way, following the same group of people around, wasting evening after evening or whatever it might be, you know, the hours you put in. And whether it be at work or in your free time or whatever, I'm not going to keep being a robotic slave to this society and beating myself down. It's almost like letting them kick you in the nuts. Walking around being a billboard for the minds of others in society to post up whatever they're talking about. It's like putting a big photo of you, a big embarrassing photo of yourself on a big massive billboard for people to chuck tomatoes at. Stinking tomatoes. That's what it's like. You need to respect yourself, stop harming yourself, and regardless of how much respect you get back, or ego and support from people that are not you, whether they're of clear mind or whether they're people that are just so dumb or whatever, and shallow themselves and negative. Regardless of their state or whoever they are not you. There's no competition in the first place. You're just a human being. You are a human being. We were all born as human beings. You don't need a psychiatric doctor to tell you that. You don't need to read every book about how to find peace and all this just to know this, that you should have control of yourself. Not try to work out puzzles and riddles of the knowledge that you've been exposed to over the years that you've been exposed to this, whatever culture you've been growing up in, or whatever knowledge that's been put to you, given to you, and then trying to work out and untie the knots of the confused minds of society. No. You have habits and you have actions, you have reactions, you have thoughts, feelings. You're a living human being, an entity. And if you have a level of health in you, there's no reason to give up. And if you have a level of mental health and sense in you, that should always be like a light shining in the dark to see the truth, that you can't cover up the truth inside. And you should never be weak enough to take a step backwards or not be good to yourself. That's what it basically is about. So if you're a victim of any kind, if you're bullied, at whatever age you are, and whoever it's being bullied by, whatever that bully is, it's weakness, remember. It's a monster, it's like a weakness, and you can make it disappear into the shadows. It's in your mind. And avoid all trouble, whether it be in real life or in your mind. You need to have a healthy mind, clear mind, a healthy body, be true to the self, and avoid all trouble, and always try to collect more good and seek the beauty of whatever you want to get in this life. That will be your power and your best power in life. And try to walk the path or the paths that you want to go. Follow the map in your heart that is true. And whatever dark situation or hard situation you're in, yes, you may have tools, you may have knowledge that you've picked up from society around you that you study, but you can use it however you want. And however stuck you may be or lost in this life, in any dark situation, this is what I tell myself, and we all can forget this from time to time, and we can all be feeling down from time to time. But if you're in a situation where there's nobody around to support you, and it's like, you really don't know what to do, look at the truth and look at what you are, a human being. We were all born as babies, Look at yourself, understand what you want and what you don't want, okay, and what you can live with, and what you really don't need to live and get by. And if you respect yourself, even if you feel down and upset, you should remember that that's because you want better, and you don't need any kind of negativity. Stop for a moment, take a few breaths, and look at the problem, no matter how big or small, whether it's in your real life or whether it's just in your mind, and say, do I need this? And does my whole life depend on me thinking about this? You may laugh and realise that actually you don't, because if you didn't even know that, you'd still be alive and you'd be able to move forward and find another way. Communication is good. Communicate with people and try to find people that are positive or thinking along the same lines as you, if possible. If not, however, find peace, find something that you enjoy doing, and find positive thoughts and work with those. Because if you dwell on negativity and you think about the bad thoughts, you're just going to bring yourself down, and you're going to waste a lot of time, and you're going to waste a lot more energy, health. And you know what that means. Lack of health leads to a very hard life and sometimes early death. So if you want to keep healthy and live a nice life, be respectful to yourself and be a role model, regardless of the kind of abuse you may get back, or the kind of ignorance you may get from society, people putting you down for your positiveness, goody angel image or whatever. Forget about that. You're not a slave for people, and you're not out burning yourself, out overworking, and so that you're not lazy. But the thing is, you're going to do good and be a good role model. That is a true hero, because nobody really likes negativity underneath it all. Most people are just confused, big time, a lot of them too. And you need to put a good message out to yourself. And you know, there's young people and other generations who can maybe be inspired by your good deeds, because they'll see people doing it and they'll see it's a reality. And it's a kind of power and something that a lot of people can't do. And people will ask you, how did you do that? Or how did you overcome this or that? And they may ask you for advice, and to you it will seem so natural and so normal. When you're free, you don't need to look for the gates to freedom, you know what I mean? And people will see, you know, certain people may change their attitudes towards you later on. But you don't live to change people's minds. You don't live to try to change the world around you so that you feel better. You need to feel better inside yourself. You need to understand there's nothing wrong with you anyway. You just got to stop making those wrong steps and stop following people that make the wrong steps. Make right steps and try to help yourself. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you very much. Take care now.